Hey, this is Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert, a NASCAR podcast. It is exciting, but also as a race fan, bittersweet when the season comes to a close. Such great racing and memories made by all this year. As we inch closer to Phoenix, Champ 4 drivers for all three series make their final preparations to head out to the desert in each of their runs for a championship. Storylines for championship weekend are, starting with the trucks, can Corey Heim wrap up an historic season filled with winning? Or can an underdog of Ankrum or Honeycutt steal the trophy? Xfinity, Connor Zilisch, the kid wonder in the Junior Motorsports 88, can he walk away with the championship after double-digit wins so far this year? Cup, with Team Penske out of the picture, will it be a Joe Gibbs car or Hendrick? We will get the cream to rise to the top and see who can deliver. Discussions with Dave, non-playoff drivers to look out for, breakdown for each playoff driver in all three series, predictions for Phoenix and each championship, exclusive interview to Splash of Gas with Xfinity Champ 4 driver of Carson Kvapil, paint scheme of the week, Fast Davey's bets, and so much more on this championship edition of Splash of Gas. As always, we're sponsored by Magical Travel with Dave, aka Disney Dave Weichert, my father. He will be able to help you with all your Disney and Universal vacation needs. He can be reached at DisneyDaveW@Verizon.net. Please make sure you follow all the Splash of Gas social medias for midweek and on-track updates. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are all Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert. Now for trivia question time. This episode's question is, what year did the King, Richard Petty, win his first of 7 championships? Hint, the answer to this question is in my first episode of this week. Hope you can get it. Now for discussions with Dave. No Team Penske cars in the Championship 4. With Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney each not being able to advance to the Champ 4, it is the first time that Team Penske will not have an opportunity to run for a championship since 2021. Team Penske has won the last 3 Cup Series championships. Joey Logano, 2022, Ryan Blaney, 2023, and last year with Logano getting his 3rd championship. Throughout this year's playoffs, I've been Team Penske, always thinking that Logano and Blaney, at least one of them would make the championship 4 and have another great shot to win a championship for Roger Penske. The way the playoff cookie crumbles, unfortunately, Ryan Blaney could not get past William Byron, and Byron walks it off. With their tough finishes in Vegas and then, of course, Talladega, each were in a must-win situation. So really a tough spot coming out of Talladega for Team Penske. And in the end, one they just could not overcome. Second topic, Lane Riggs, way too early predictions for the 2026 Truck Series Champ. When going over the recap, the first episode this week, I told you how surprised and shocked I was that Lane did not make the transfer into the Championship 4. Front Row Motorsports doesn't take long. They announced today that Riggs will return in the 34 for the 2026 truck season. No brainer on their end. With how dominant Corey Heim has been this year, Heim, by the way things are looking at it, is not going to be in the truck series next year. Riggs, see the next guy to come in and take the reins of the truck series as we saw Heim did this year? I truly think so. Front Row Motorsports with a 2-truck team this season is just getting better and better. I know for that team right now, it hurts. But in the long run and looking towards next year, I think they will have no problem making the Championship 4 and having a heck of a good chance to walk away with next year's truck championship. More news on the truck side of things. Kaulig Racing announces more of their truck lineup. They announced that full-time Xfinity driver from this year, Daniel Dye, will be moving with them to the trucks. One name that was released I was not expecting, and it did make sense when the news broke that Justin Haley would not be returning to the Cup Series with Spire Motorsports next year. Haley spent a long time with Kaulig in the Xfinity Series, winning races, then jumping up to their Cup seat. Chris Rice of Kaulig Racing came out and said that Justin is family to them, but they already had the 5 seats filled and they wouldn't be able to provide him with a full-time truck seat. They just announced today, Wednesday, that Justin Haley will be driving them full-time. So what does that tell you? A deal fell through, which Ram and Kaulig had said that these trucks are coming fully sponsored for the season by Ram. So, I mean, what deal did fall through? I'm sure we'll hear more specifics about it, but it was strange that Chris Rice said, love Justin, not going to have him back. Like 2 weeks later, hey, we're having Justin. I mean, money's money and business is business. I get it. Just interesting and, small pieces to follow in the truck series, I get. But thought this was one to follow. Who was the driver that got the short stick and won't be with them next year? Probably won't know. Kaulig has announced 3 of their planned truck spots for next year. Butterbean Queen, Daniel Dye, and now Justin Haley. Who will fill out the 2 remaining spots? We'll find out. Next topic on Discussions with Dave. A really good point and topic was brought up by Kevin Harvick on his podcast. If Corey Heim and Connor Zilisch don't win their championships, then it's an embarrassment to the sport. Corey Heim and Connor Zilisch each have put up a ridiculous amount of wins in the truck and Xfinity series this year. Knew both of these drivers were going to be good. Heim in trucks, Zilisch in Xfinity. Totally thought they would be championship contenders. But the way they did it and got to the championship 4, just so dominant. And Harvick has been a critic of the current playoff format. He does make a very good point with this question. Say if you have, let's just spitball, Honeycutt win the truck championship. Then say you have Allgaier, last year's champ, win the Xfinity championship. The amount of wins from, say, this example, the wins are just not in comparison. Best driver in trucks this year, Corey Heim. Best driver in Xfinity this year, Connor Zilisch. If one or both don't win their championship, yes, it is going to hurt the integrity of the sport. I do love the playoff system, though. It's exciting, and sometimes in championships in baseball and football, the best team from the whole year sometimes doesn't win the championship. That's the whole point of the playoffs. Do you want sponsors to fall off trucks and cars because the last 2 races of the season, the championship's already decided and it doesn't matter? I'm still going to watch, but is the average weekend warrior NASCAR fan going to tune in then? No, because the race wouldn't mean anything. I understand what Harvick is saying, 100% here. And I do agree with him to a point. But don't change the playoff system with this argument. Nonetheless, Corey Heim and Connor Zilisch are the favorites for each of their championship and cannot wait to see how they perform Friday for the trucks and then Saturday, Zilisch in the Xfinity Series. Last topic on Discussions with Dave. On this episode, I completely forgot to talk about this in the Talladega episodes we did last week, but William Sawalich is still not cleared for competition. He suffered a concussion in one of the wrecks in Talladega. Justin Bonsignor will fill in the 18 again. He filled in for Sawalich in Martinsville. Even though William didn't make the playoffs this year, we've seen that 18 in the top 10, top 5 more and more recently. Stinks that he won't get a chance to finish out this season. Hope he can rest up and be ready for Daytona. As we mentioned in the intro, we have a Champ 4 driver coming on to the show. That's from the Xfinity Series, Carson Kvapil. Spoke to Carson earlier this year, bringing him back on. Excited for him to get a chance at the championship. Greatly appreciate Carson's time, as I know it is valuable this week as he prepares for Phoenix at a chance to win a championship. Here's what Carson had to say. Next guest we bring on the Splash of Gas is making his first Champ 4 appearance in just his rookie season. Driver of the Bass Pro Shops #1 for Junior Motorsports and the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Carson Kvapil. Thanks for joining the show again, Carson, and congratulations on making the Championship 4.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. The Xfinity season, as you know, is a long grind. With this being your first full-time season, what have you learned since February that has helped you improve as a driver?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's so many things that I feel like I've learned that I couldn't even tell you one. I mean, the cars are so much different than the late model stuff that I'm used to, the aerodynamics, the radial tire, even the racecraft and the points format. I mean, there's so much different about it that it's not like I really have one thing that stands out, right? But I feel like over the course of the year, I've kind of figured it out, I guess you could say, or at least I have a lot better understanding. Going back to Phoenix than I did in the spring race when it was my first time there. So I feel like I've learned quite a bit, like I said, and just can't wait to hit the track for Phoenix.
Heck yeah. Definitely a lot to pick up in the first year, but having a lot of success for sure. Well, last time we spoke earlier this season was after your P9 run in Iowa. Since then, you and the one team have continued to have consistent, strong runs, nabbing 4 top 5s and 8 top 15s in that 10-race span. How have you been able to get top finishes in the latter half of the season and continue that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like obviously the number one team brings a fast race car week in and week out, and there's some weeks where we're a little bit off and some weeks where we hit it really, really good. So, I mean, I feel like we just bring consistency to the racetrack. Obviously, I feel like this playoff format rewards flashiness, and you could wreck 2 of the playoff races but win the last one and you're in. So for us, it's kind of been the complete opposite. We haven't been flashy. We really haven't been super dominant or anything like that, but we've had really good, consistent runs and just put ourselves in a great point spot going into each round of the playoffs. And I feel like we've had a really consistent season. I mean, it's like I said, it's been good. It's not been super dominant, flashy, but I think we've only had 1 DNF this year from a blown engine. So it's just the consistency that's got us to this point. And now we're going to have to kind of change our I guess, approach, you could say. And instead of the consistency thing, we're going to have to go for the flashiness here going into Phoenix.
Gotcha. Appreciate the honesty with that. You mentioned, compared to the late model series you were running, the point system is a little bit different. With your first appearance in the Xfinity Series playoffs, once you get belted in the car in Bristol for the first playoff race, did anything feel different to you as a driver, or was it business as usual?
I mean, business as usual. I feel like there's kind of a routine that me and my team have week in and week out. We don't really stray away from it, and that the main goal there is just to run all the laps. And then obviously when you have a car like I do, if you run all the laps, you're probably going to run good. So, or at least have a good finishing position. So, nothing really too crazy. Obviously, the point stuff got a little bit more highlighted in the playoff races, but it wasn't like we completely changed our mindset or anything like that.
Gotcha. More on the round of 12. You advance on to the round of 8 after the P4 finish at Bristol to start the round, and then back-to-back P15 finishes at Kansas and the Roval. What did you take away from that round? Did you learn anything that helped you out in this past round?
I mean, a little bit. Obviously, it just gives you a feel for kind of how you have to run, and obviously as you get lower and lower on the rounds, it gets harder. So I feel like our P4 finish at Bristol really helped us out in that round, and then we kind of struggled at the 1.5 miles of Kansas and just didn't really have a good car. We finished 15th, and then the Roval, we actually had a pretty good piece, and we kind of went for stage points all race long to get ourselves into the round. Kind of sacrificed our finishing position because of that, but I just feel like it gives you a good feel of what you're up against in the next round and what you got to do differently.
Gotcha.
appreciate that insight there, especially with going for the points at the Roval. After Vegas, going into Talladega, you were minus 22 points to the cutoff line. The one, as we know, that has brought speed to the bigger tracks throughout this year. We saw how crazy that race got with all the wrecks. Even though the super speedways bring unpredictability, how were you able to navigate to a P2 finish that was a big boost to your playoff points?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I feel like the round of 8 here to advance to the round of 4 was probably our best round looking in from like if you're sitting there a month ahead of time. That was kind of the one that we had circled. Talladega, I mean, you just never know. I could have been caught up in stage 1 and got no stage points, and it would have killed my whole playoff run, right? But just had a solid day, and we just didn't make dumb moves and tried to stay out of trouble. And really it kind of worked in our favor that the 3 other playoff cars got wrecked or the two of the 3 I think did, or 3 of the 4, I can't remember. They got wrecked in stage 1 and took us from minus 22 to like plus 3 just starting stage 2. So that was obviously really the biggest thing that helped us to get to round of 4 was having a good Talladega, and then obviously finishing it up with a good stage 2 and a second place run at the end of the race was huge for us, and kind of put us into a spot where we're plus 11 going into Martinsville. And Martinsville's also one of those wild card races, but it's a little bit more tame, and I feel like I have a better understanding for Martinsville. So going into the Martinsville race, we actually were good. I mean, we qualified qualified second. Just didn't really get the stage points we needed right away, and we had to get them to stage 2, and then we were sitting in a good spot points-wise, sitting in third in points in the final stage, and we got turned around there with 20 to go, and had to drive back to the field to get 7 or so spots, I think it was, to advance, and I think we got up to 10 or 11. So did our jobs in that end, and just had a smooth playoff run all around.
Awesome. No, really appreciate you touching on the stuff for Martinsville. Just like you said, coming into the race 11 points ahead of the cutoff line. And then just like you mentioned, I mean, late on lap 227, you get spun by the 39. And I believe you were running 9th. I mean, in the closing laps, you move up to 20th, which then put you 2 points ahead of Jones for that final spot. In the overtime, Jones and Sammy Smith weren't able to get past Taylor Gray, and you get that final championship 4 spot, as we know. From the spin to the time you got out of the car, like, what did you experience? I mean, it seemed like a roller coaster of emotions from the grandstand.
I mean, it was. Obviously, we were sitting in 9th there, and I think we were better than 9th. I mean, we probably could have got up to maybe 7th, 6th place. We weren't like a winning car, I guess you'd say, but we had a top 5 car just outside the top 5 speed, and just was kind of biding our time, just kind of hanging out. And we could have probably passed the 41, but he was being pretty aggressive, and I didn't really want to get around that. And especially we were 13 in at the time, so there was no point to push it. And I was hoping just to not make any enemies and just finish the race out green. But unfortunately, we got turned around there. And honestly, I feel like if I would have probably went and I would have got around the 41 and took that risk, I probably wouldn't have been in that spot to get turned around. But you just never know how it's going to play out, and you just do whatever you think's best for your team and your car and stuff. And but no, those last 20 laps, restarting 30th was definitely, it was tough. I mean, I feel like Martinsville's that type of track where you never really get a lot of green flag laps in the closing 50 laps of the race. And fortunately for us, we were able to get a handful of laps in before that yellow came out, and we were able to get ourselves to a decent position. But it was just a hard cutthroat fight to the end, and then we made it happen.
Yeah, we saw how aggressive the 41 was there. That appreciate the insight with you picking the battles and everything. And then last question about Martinsville. Did you have any Martinsville dogs?
I did. I think I only had one. I was kind of hoping to get a few more than that, but I only had one or maybe 2 all the way.
Gotcha. Yeah, I like before the interview, I was saying it was my first time there, and had 9 throughout the weekend, but was still feeling good. Next question: with covering the sport for the last several years, seeing you run big late model races, and of course, Xfinity part-time last year and full-time this season, I've always been impressed with how calm and collected you seem pre-race, and saw that in Martinsville as well. I mean, you looked cool as a cucumber with a championship 4 spot on the line. I mean, how are you able to not let the moment get too big for you?
Man, I feel like every race is just another race, right? And You can't really let the noise and the circumstances outside of your control to really get to you. Obviously, I definitely have nerves. I just don't really show it. But I feel like the main goal always is to finish the races. And I don't think you can go into the race with a jacked up mentality or I'm gonna be aggressive today. I don't think you can really do that, just in the fact that it just kind of, I don't know, changes a lot of your decision making and stuff. And this weekend at Phoenix is gonna be a tough one, I think, for all of us. I mean, obviously, all the guys that are in the Final Four, we know what's on the line, and we know how much money it pays, and we know what the trophy looks like. It's tough, right? But for me, it's just another race we're going to, and this one just means a little bit more, and there's just a little bit more fuel on the fire to win this race, just in the fact that it's a championship race. So, I mean, a lot of this weekend is going to be tough, and we're going to be looking at our car, wondering what we need to do better, how we can make it better, and what I could do differently in the driver's seat. But just another race, just means a little bit more.
Gotcha. Seems like you're in a good spot preparing for Phoenix. I know this week is jam-packed for you, not just like you said, getting the one ready, but all that in media stuff. I know it's only Wednesday, but how are you, yourself feeling prepared for the championship for this Saturday?
Yeah, I feel fine. I mean, our week's pretty short. I'm heading out to get on a plane here in a couple hours, and just really shortens up our week and makes it tough. But I mean, obviously, right away, as soon as you get back to the racetrack that Sunday, you're working on the next weekend, and usually we get till Thursday night to prep for it. But this week's a little shorter, like I said, and there's a lot more media and stuff like that. But no, I feel pretty prepared. I've been here before. It's not really one of my most comfortable tracks, I guess you could say, but I feel like I have an understanding for it, and I think if we have a good car, I'll figure it out. So, really, I mean, honestly, all four of us are going to be at the mercy of what our car can do. And I feel like all four of us, there's not one of us drivers that's this crazy good or talented compared to the other. I mean, we all got here because we're good. We had good race cars throughout the year. So it's going to be all about what we have. And then when we'll really know lap 5 of practice if we have a really good shot at it or not. But either way, we'll be working our tails off to make it better no matter what. Heck
yeah. Appreciate that. Just as you mentioned, Phoenix, you said isn't the most comfortable track for you. The spring race there didn't go the smoothest. The first time you visited there, don't want you to give up any secrets, but what's really your game plan and things that you'll be looking for on track in the practice and qualifying?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like I'm not sure. I know what I need to feel, but I'm not really 100% sure what it feels like because I haven't had that feeling yet. Our spring race, like you said, wasn't smooth. We didn't have a good brake package. We struggled with that all weekend, and then eventually that led to our rotor failure with a few laps to go. But I don't know. I mean, I watched the video and I go, man, yeah, I feel like that's what it should look like. But our spring race, like I said, didn't go that way and didn't have that feeling. So I don't really know what awesome feels like or what I want the car to do to feel like, but I kind of have an understanding for it, and I hope we have that this weekend. But no matter what, like I said, we're going to be working our tails off to make it as best as we can make it, and obviously all the guys in the shop are bringing the best car they can bring, and I'm bringing the best driving I can bring. So we're all going to be bringing our A game, just like the other 3 playoff guys, to try to win the championship.
Awesome. Just like you said, everyone's working their tails off, and really do appreciate your time, Carson. We'll be pulling for you on Saturday. We'll talk to you over the off season. Safe travels today to Phoenix. All right.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thanks again. See ya.
Yep.
So awesome to talk to a championship Ford driver. Appreciate Carson's time. Best of luck to him on Saturday. We will preview each of the Champ 4 drivers shortly, but here are the non-playoff drivers to look out for in Phoenix, starting with the Truck Series. Brent Cruz. He has been a force to be reckoned with in the Tricon Garage 1 in spot starts. We saw him win in the ARCA car the first time they went to Phoenix earlier this year. What can he do in a truck? Stefan Parsons. He'll be driving the number 7 truck for Spire Motorsports. Always seems at the end of each season, Stefan gets good opportunities for Phoenix. Excited to see what he can do in the 7 truck. Throwing it back to Tricon Garage to the guy that won in Talladega, Gio Ruggiero. Look out for that 17. The next 2 drivers were in the round of 8 and unfortunately didn't make the transfer. Starting with the fastest truck not in the Final Four, Lane Riggs. And then the veteran Daniel Hemrick in the 19. Shout out to Andres Perez de Lara in the 44. He's had some pretty good runs come recently. Can he put a full race together in Phoenix? Last but not least, the 71 of Raja Karuth. Before Martinsville, he was having a fantastic playoff run. Now, non-playoff drivers to look out for: Xfinity Series. Sheldon Creed comes out of Martinsville with a P4 finish. Wasn't the win he needed to make the Champ 4, but still, nonetheless, look out for the 00. Brendan Butterbean Queen. We did see Butterbean fall short at the ARCA Phoenix race in March. Queen was just leading laps in the Xfinity 11 in Martinsville. What can he do in Phoenix? Think a top 5 finish isn't out of the picture. The Hendrick 17 Xfinity car has been quick throughout this season. What can Corey Day do when he hops in it again? Harrison Burton was on the pole in Martinsville. This will be his final time in the 25 before he moves to Sam Hunt Racing. I know he's not full-time, but the 19 of Eric Amarola is so quick and always a contender typically when he's running. Look out for him in Phoenix. With the suspension of Sam Mayer in this one, Ryan Sieg will hop in the 41. Excited to see what Ryan can do in some top equipment. Can't not mention the guy that just got his first Xfinity win, Taylor Gray. Now, non-playoff drivers to look out for: Cup Series. Ross Chastain won this race as a non-playoff driver in 2023 when Ryan Blaney came in second and won the championship. Can Ross be competitive in this one? I sure think so. Ryan Blaney. Just mentioned how strong he's been at Phoenix in the past, getting that championship in 2023. Even though there's no Team Penske cars in the Champ 4, think Blaney plus his teammate of Joey Logano each run in the top 10. Still gotta shout out the 2 Joe Gibbs Xfinity cars that aren't in the Champ 4, Christopher Bell and Ty Gibbs. Expect good runs for each of them. Now, the Champ 4, starting with the Truck Series. Corey Heim, Caden Honeycutt, Ty Majeski, and Tyler Ankrum round out the 4. First driver we'll break down is Caden Honeycutt. Caden did not take the normal or traditional route to this year's championship. He is driven for 3 different teams and 2 different manufacturers. He was with Nice Motorsports for a majority of this year, from Daytona to RIP. Around that time, Honeycutt announced to Nice that he would be moving to a different team in 2026 and a different manufacturer that wasn't a Chevy. And Nice releases him immediately. He has to put together a spot start with Young's Motorsports at Watkins Glen to keep him eligible for the playoffs. With Stuart Friesen unfortunately being hurt and not being able to run the rest of the year in the 52 truck, Honeycutt hops in that one. And they have been hot and putting together solid finishes. Since running the 52, Honeycutt has 4 top 10 finishes, with his best being second place in Martinsville, getting into the Champ 4. Now we look at Tyler Ankrum, who drives the 18 for McAnally Higgleman Racing. He gets a win early in the season, April in Rockingham. Even though Tyler is still a young guy, he's been in the Truck Series for a number of years at this point. 3 top 10s in a row coming into Phoenix. Was 11th in New Hampshire, the last mile track. What can Tyler do out in the desert? Now, Ty Majeski, last year's champ. Crazy to think at this point, Ty still hasn't won a race this year. But that has not stopped him from finding the front of these Truck Series fields. And guess what about Majeski? He is a top 10 streak of 11 races in a row coming into Phoenix. Totally think Ty has the best chance to knock off Corey Heim. Now, Corey Heim. Corey has set the single season truck wins record with 11, breaking Greg Biffle's 9 back in the day. The 11 truck driven by Heim has been the top of the Truck Series garage from the start of the season in Daytona, wins in Martinsville. From the drop of the green flag, the 11 is so quick on the restarts and can stay so strong throughout runs. Will Heim walk off with the championship trophy in Phoenix? I strongly believe so. Stay tuned for our final predictions, though. Xfinity Championship 4, Connor Zilisch, Carson Kvapil, Justin Allgaier, and Jesse Love. All 4 Chevrolets. Start off, Carson Kvapil. We were just talking to him. As he was saying in the interview, very consistent from the one team throughout this year, 14 top 10s, 7 top 5s. With an average finish of just over 13 for the youngster in his rookie season, second place finish in Talladega, and being strong in Martinsville puts him in the championship 4. Now for Jesse Love, the only driver that is not with Junior Motorsports. Love drives the 2 for Richard Childress Racing, starts the year off hot with the win in Daytona, is able to rack up good points throughout Vegas, Talladega, solid points buffer heading into Martinsville, and is able to point his way into the championship 4. With 21 top 10 so far this year, can Love keep his consistent runs going into Phoenix? We will see. Last year's champ, Justin Allgaier, average finish so far this year of just over 12, 2 poles, a whopping 14 top 5s, and 19 top 10s, 3 wins, back-to-back P3 finishes in Vegas and Talladega, sets him up great going into Martinsville. Can Justin hit repeat and win the championship 2 years in a row? Now, Connor Zilisch, 10 wins so far this year in the Xfinity Series, 22 top 10s, 19 top 5s, with average finish of 8th. Crazy numbers. We know he's going to be racing the Cup Series next year with Trackhouse. Can Connor go off with a bang and win the championship? We'll find out in our predictions. Now, the Cup Series Champ 4. Chase Briscoe, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, Kyle Larson. We start off with Chase Briscoe. As we know, he won Talladega, which locked him in to Phoenix in the Champ 4. 7 poles so far in the 19, and he's been consistent. 15 top 5 finishes. Average finish of just over 12. In his first year with Joe Gibbs, can Briscoe make it happen in Phoenix? Now, Kyle Larson, the first of the 2 Hendrick Motorsports cars we will talk about. 14 top 5s, 21 top 10s. Has amassed 3 wins so far this year already. Larson has 1 championship already underneath his belt. Can he make it 2? William Byron. Willie B walked it off, as we know, last weekend in Martinsville. Can he go back-to-back? Started off the year winning the biggest race of the year, the Daytona 500. 2 other wins so far to add to that. 3 poles, 2, 16 top 10s, 11 top 5s. What can Byron do with the 24 in the desert? Last but not least, Denny Hamlin. 20 years in the making. Can Hamlin get the championship he's been vying for his whole career? 6 wins so far in the 11. 17 top 10s, 14 top 5s. Average finish of just over 12. Denny is the first to lock himself into Phoenix. We know he was sitting back, cruising Talladega, Martinsville, 24th and 35th. Does he have the momentum he needs to be at the top in Phoenix? We'll talk about that shortly. Now for Paint Scheme of the Week, Part 2. This episode, we're going to look at the Xfinity 00 of Sheldon Creed. Main sponsor is Pit Boss. On the side of the car, there is a turkey leg. Pretty awesome in my opinion. Now for Fast Davey's bets. Trucks, Stephen Parsons' top 5 is plus 19. a veteran driver in a fast Spire truck. A lot would need to go wrong for Heim not to win the championship. But I like the value of plus 1,200 odds on Caden Honeycutt to win the race and championship. Xfinity Butterbean Queen learned a lot about Phoenix in the spring when he ran the ARCA race and came in second. We saw how fast he was in Martinsville. Top 5 for Bean is plus 700. I like that. Cup, Ross Chastain won this race in 2023 when he was non-playoff eligible. He's plus 550 for a top 3. I think that's good value right there. Now for trivia answer time. This episode's question is, what year did the King, Richard Petty, win his first of 7 championships? Answer, 1964. Petty started the most races in NASCAR history that season with 61, en route to winning the season-ending national title, his first of 7. Now the moment all these races have culminated into our predictions for Phoenix and the championship. We start off with the trucks. My prediction is Heim wins and brings the championship home on his time. Heim time. Xfinity. Any of the Champ 4 could go on to win this race. Think it will come down to Allgaier and Zilisch, and non-playoff driver of Eric Amarola, but don't count out Jesse Love. In the end, give me the boy genius, Connor Zilisch, who's going on the Cup next year. Think he wins the driver championship? I think he comes in second. Give me Amarola to win the race. Cup Series. I called it at the beginning of this year. I thought the light looked dim with Penske and Gibbs coming off so strong at points in this playoffs. Think the championship returns to Team Hendrick with William Byron, Willie B, getting the trophy and the win. So excited for all the great racing that will happen in Phoenix for NASCAR's 2025 season finale. As always, we're sponsored by Magical Travel with Dave, aka Disney Dave Weichert, my father. He will be able to help you with all your Disney and Universal vacation needs. He can be reached at DisneyDaveW@Verizon.net. Please make sure you follow all the Splash of Gas social medias for midweek and on-track updates. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are all Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert. Can't wait for the trucks and cars to roll off in the desert. The next time we talk, folks, there will be a championship crowned in each the trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. So excited. Till next time, Splash of Gas out.